The village of Owa lay cloaked in dawn's golden hush, but beneath its peaceful veneer, unrest coiled like a serpent. The once glorious war chief, Okoro, now walked with the weight of age pressing against his shoulders, though his eyes still burned with the fire of battles past. To many, he remained a living legend, a symbol of strength, wisdom, and the blood-soaked glory of a bygone era. But to others, particularly among the younger warriors, his continued presence was a shadow cast too long. Among them were three: Juma, the bold and cunning; Kato, the bitter and ambitious; and Bira, quiet but impressionable, always caught between honor and the sway of his peers. The trio had grown in the echo of Okoro's tales, his triumphs on the battlefield, his unflinching command, and the reverence he commanded. But times had changed. There were no more wars, only stories. And they were tired of living in another man's legend. Juma called them together beneath the sacred palm tree. "The lion must sleep," he said, his voice smooth as river stones. "Owa cannot move forward shackled to its past. He is still strong," Kato muttered. "Even the strongest lion dies when the jackals strike together." Bira said nothing. He didn't trust Juma, but the words burrowed into his chest. He could feel his future slipping behind him, one heartbeat at a time. They devised a plan. They would invite Okoro on a ceremonial hunt, an old tradition, rarely practiced but deeply respected. They would frame it as an offering to the gods for continued peace and protection. Okoro, though wary, agreed, not out of trust, but out of pride. He would not be remembered as the chief who refused a final hunt. At dawn they entered the forest. Okoro led, his stride purposeful, his senses sharp. The forest welcomed him like an old friend. The birdsong above, the scent of moss and earth, the distant trickle of water, it all spoke to him. But beneath it, something else lingered. A silence between the leaves, a breath held too long. He paused. "You walk like men burdened by secrets," he said, not turning around. Juma laughed. "Only the secret of where the antelope hides." Okoro nodded slowly. They reached a clearing deep in the woods, a sacred space where warriors once made blood oaths. Here the earth was dark and rich, fed by generations of fallen beasts and men. Okoro stepped into the center and turned. "You chose this place well," he said, scanning their eyes. "It is a good place to die." For a heartbeat, no one moved. Then Juma struck. The blade came swift, aiming for Okoro's heart, but the old man turned, caught the motion, and parried with a spear. Steel clashed, Kato rushed in, and Okoro slammed the butt of his weapon into the youth's gut, sending him sprawling. He moved like lightning dressed in wrinkles, his muscles remembering wars his mind tried to forget. Blood spattered the grass. Juma screamed a command. Bira froze. Okoro saw the boy's eyes wide, uncertain. There was still hope there, still something unbroken. "Leave now," Okoro said to him. "This is not your fight." But Bira didn't move. Juma lunged again. Okoro met him with a roar, his spear dancing through the air like a storm wind. A gash opened on Juma's cheek, and the future usurper screamed in pain and rage. Kato recovered and joined the fray, 2 against 1. The old man fought like a storm, but age was cruel. His breath grew ragged, his legs heavier. A slash to his thigh brought him to a knee. Still, he would not fall. "I taught you to hunt," he shouted through gritted teeth. "To fight, to survive. Is this how you repay me?" Juma raised his blade high, fury in his eyes. "You taught us to obey. Now we lead." The sword fell. Okoro collapsed, blood darkening the earth beneath him. Silence. The forest seemed to shudder, even the wind stopped to watch. Okoro coughed, blood bubbling to his lips. He looked up at the faces of his betrayers, once boys he'd fed and trained. His gaze lingered on Bira. "My blood stains your hands," he whispered, "but the soil remembers." He gripped the earth with a dying fist. "This forest, it does not forget. My spirit will rise with the trees, my voice with the wind. When your time comes, Juma, listen for the whisper that speaks your name. I will be waiting." His eyes dimmed. The lion was dead. But somewhere in the trees, a crow called 3 times. The young men stared at the body, but none felt victory. Cato trembled. Bera dropped his weapon. Juma turned away, pressing a cloth to the bleeding cut on his cheek. "Bury him," he ordered. No one moved. From the shadows of the forest, the ancient spirits of Erwa watched. The trees leaned in closer, the soil drank deep, and far beyond the realm of the living, something stirred awake, a promise of vengeance written in blood. To be continued.